JJ, Luka had the 3 steals and 2 blocks on top of the scoring production. What stood out the most to you about his night?
Some ridiculous shot making, and a lot of ridiculous shot making against really, really good defenders. I think he just really imposed his will and took control of the game early, and gave us a cushion. We knew it was going to be a game that they were going to go on some runs, and we were able to sustain those. They do, particularly Nemhard and Neesmith on ball. They're as good as anyone in the league. I think of like Lou Dort's another great guy with it. They don't change their foot angle on pick and roll, and so they are able to guard the reject plus pursue. And so when you're in a shock against that, the big is able to just get back to his guy quicker without any real advantage created. And so, I just those guys, for him to do that in that coverage, and they were they doubled him in the post, and he just found a way. And I think our other guys, you go down Smart, Rui, Luke, AR eventually. They made some big shots, and Luke, again, for probably the 5th or 6th game in the last 7, was just a real difference maker for us offensively.
JJ, you mentioned kind of Austin and sort of the eventually to it. Just kind of what are you seeing right now? Is it just the ball not going in on some 2s that he normally makes? And I guess did you sense that he kind of found his way at some point during the game?
Yeah, I thought he was able to get by his guy and drive and attack the paint, and I thought he got fouled. I know there was one early that he got fouled on, but I thought he got fouled on a number of drives, and that wasn't being called tonight, and he played through a lot of contact tonight, and just again similar to Luka, willed it in on a night where he initially didn't have it, but that stretch in the second half was great. He made 5 or 6 shots there.
JJ, I know you've talked a lot about Luka's talent and how he can kind of take control of a game. Earlier today, Rick Carlisle called him impossible to game plan for. What about Luka makes him impossible in that way? And then how many guys in the league do you think are like that?
He can make every shot. He can make a step back left wing bank shot that line drives and barely goes above the rim. He can make floaters. He can make floaters going left, right. He's a shot maker, but he's also a playmaker, and he has the ability, whether he's in single coverage or double coverage, to make reads and create, open shots and closeouts and lobs for his teammates. And he's done this for 7 years now, and he's seen every coverage, and so he has his progression of reads.
In your answer about Austin, you mentioned that there were some drives he didn't get those calls. Feels like across the league that's been the case. Guys not getting to the free throw line as often. What do you make of just how games are called, I guess now in March, as opposed to how they were called November, October, or even December?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't feel like the game is being officiated any differently.
You guys got a good team coming to town on Sunday in the Knicks, and so far this season haven't had the best record against teams with above 600 winning percentage. Obviously, in the postseason, the teams you face will have good records.
Yeah.
How important for your group is it just maybe even just get one in the win column, and then kind of what you've done thus far against those teams won't matter as much?
The good news for us is that we have a lot of opportunities over the next 10 games or whatever it is to win some of those games. I do think that the game last night was, it was important because that was a game that we've broken throughout the year in games like that, and they made a number of runs that went to double digits, and we just kept playing and had a chance, one possession game with a minute to go. So again, I'm confident we're going to find it. How we're going to find it, that's where it's you gotta figure it out on a daily basis sometimes.
JJ, after picking up his 15th tech last night, did you see a little more disciplined Luka in that regard as far as his conversations with the officials?
He had
Just
very
more
pleasant,
focused
very
on the
pleasant
game?
conversations with the officials tonight.
Coach, obviously, excuse me, Luka gets off to strong starts often. But how does Luka doing that at night when the team is a little shorthanded help set the tone?
We need his scoring every night. We I think had problems with just they have good defenders, they have length, they're physical, they pick up full court. We had sometimes problems entering the ball in sets. We tried to run some sets and it ended up in a turnover, or the ball was at half court and we're back on our heels. So him just kind of taking over, I think, just opened things up for us.
Luka, can you just kind of describe the feeling in the first quarter today? Just kind of the degree of difficulty on some of those shots, and just like how good of a rhythm you felt.
They felt great. Felt like I had my legs. They were working, but definitely needed to win this game. So, we came out aggressive and made a statement.
Look, when you guys have two starters out, LeBron and DeAndre, do you feel the need to be more productive and to be more assertive during the game?
No need. I always want to be productive, but it's just next man up mentality. We have great guys on the bench, so they help us win this game. So I think just always want to be productive, but like I said, next man up mentality.
Luka, do you guys need to start winning games like Sunday's game against the Knicks, a team with a strong record, to start validating maybe your belief in yourselves? Because obviously in the playoffs you're going to have to beat good teams to make a run.
Yeah, we want to win every game, but obviously, I think we suffer a little bit against good teams, so we definitely want to win those games too.
Luka, you mentioned guys coming off the bench. Luke gave you guys a good boost. Just what has he meant coming into this team at the trade deadline?
It's great. I was saying you got to shoot more. There's a lot of times I think he could have the shot, but he didn't shoot it. But it's just very fun playing with him. He's a great guy too, so I'm really glad that he's on my team,
Luka,
our team.
Sorry, when you're one game away from a suspension with another tech, does it change the flow of the game for you, the way you focus, or just the way this game being officiated? Because you looked a lot more disciplined tonight.
No, just want to play my game.
Živijo, Luka, čestitke za lep večer. Mene pa samo zanima, včeraj je Anže Kopitar odigral 1500 tekmo v Ligi NHL. Vi ste nekje, oziroma boste pri koncu te sezone pri številki 500. Sanjate o številki 1500 oziroma vaše mnenje o dosežku, no, prosim?
Mislim, da sem glih včeraj mu 500 tekam, tako da je 1500 kar velik. On že 20-21 let igra, svakому čast. Upam, da bo telo zdržal do te številke za mene.
Srečno.
Hvala.
Luka, živijo, ti kaj pomeni, da je v nedeljo tekma zelo zgodaj v Sloveniji ob 8:30, pa v Evropi nasploh, celo kakšen otroci bodo lahko gledali, pa mislim, da je celo edina v tej sezoni.
Ja, mislim, da smo imeli samo eno do zdaj, ampak meni so zmeraj te tekme pomnili veliko. Vem, da je veliko ljudi lahko gleda v Evropi, sploh moje bližji, tako da sem vesel, da je lahko to zgodaj tekma.
Luka, how much pride do you take in your defensive side of the game? You had a pretty good defensive night tonight.
Yeah, I know people are not going to talk about it never. So, I'm just trying to do my job, trying to be more aggressive, being more engaged. So, just trying to do better on defensive end.
Hey, Luka, both JJ and Carlisle defended you before the game about just your fieriness and competitive edge, even during the emotional swings of a game. Why do you think it's so important to still keep that edge through everything?
That just, for me, shows that I really care for the game. I want to win every game. Obviously, there's a lot of emotions, but that means a lot of care for the game. This game has given me everything, so that's why sometimes it's a lot.
All right, Austin, what did you think was the key in you guys establishing control early in the game?
Oh, we just played hard. Obviously, Luka had it going. Everybody played good. Jackson's playing really well, Marcus. It was a team effort.
We've seen this before from Lucas, certainly, but what was it like seeing just kind of how hot, how efficient he was tonight?
It was cool. A shot he made, I think, at the end of the third off the glass was just, he gets bored and tries stuff, so good player.
Your second half was kind of more what we've been used to after the slow first half. Was it as simple as shots were falling? Did you attack any differently?
No. I didn't play very good in the first half.
How's the saw you how you wrapped up? Was that after the collision yesterday?
I just thought it looked cool, so I just rocked with it.
What's the biggest improvements you've seen from Jackson from last season or end of last season to now?
Well, I think maturity. The way he approaches the game day to day, does what he needs to do in his off time around the gym, gets his work in, takes care of his body, and then just the preparation that he puts into it. You can tell he's grown in those aspects, and that's just made him a better player. He's been, I think we could probably all agree that it's just some of the best basketball he's played in his career. I'm happy for him. We need him to continue to do that because he's a big part of what we're going to do.
You guys don't have the best record against good teams. You got another good one coming in on Sunday, and that's the start of a stretch. JJ was talking about like 10 days or so where you have 5 or 6 games against strong opponents. How important it would maybe just to get one, and then you kind of can shed that the reputation up to this point for the season?
I think it's just continuing to play the game the right way. We're still, growing. Chemistry on the court, just continuing to do the right things and trusting the process. And I think it'll be a big game Sunday, and that's a good team. And we expect to go out there and play hard and compete and try to get a win.
Hey, Luka, as somebody that has probably always been able to shoot and kind of understands the difficulty of it, how can you appreciate watching what Luka does on a night like tonight and just the difficulty of the shots that he manages to hit?
Yeah, it's very difficult what he does, and I don't think he gets enough credit for what he can do out there. Even being on the floor, I just kind of catch myself watching sometimes, seeing what he does, and it's fun to watch. It's another thing being a part of it. So credit to him for getting us going tonight on a back-to-back. Not a lot of rest getting back from last night, but it's pretty special what he can do out there.
These last 5 games, you're well over 60% from 3 and kind of efficient from 2 as well. Where are you starting to find the rhythm within this group, and what do you think has kind of helped get you to that point? And then obviously you're knocking the shots down.
Yeah. Just our ball movement has been really, it's progressed very well over the last few games. And for me, it's just being ready to shoot if I have a shot. And if not, just keeping the offense going, not letting it stall at all. And whether that's me driving in the paint, looking for another shot, or kicking it out, just creating opportunities and advantages any chance we can. So it's something that I feel like I've fit in pretty well so far. And I'm excited to see where we can keep going and grow together as a group. But it's been a lot of fun.
Luka just said that he's been trying to encourage you to make sure to shoot more because you're shooting so efficiently. Just what's it like getting the support from your teammates, especially coming in kind of mid-season, and just what's it been like just kind of like finding your way with this group?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, especially coming from a guy like that. One of the best scorers to ever play the game, and it just builds confidence in you as a player to play off of him. And he's got to make the right play when, obviously he draws a lot of attention on the offensive end, and he finds guys. His IQ is very high level, and for me, it's just being ready to shoot the ball when it gets to me. So, it's definitely a confidence builder, and I'm excited to keep playing with him and seeing where our chemistry can keep growing.
Luke, tonight was the 5th time this season that Luke has scored 20-plus in the first quarter. It was the most in season by any player since play-by-play tracking began. Can you contextualize what it could do for a team to have one of your best players, your leader, get it going that way, and how that can maybe bring energy to the group?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that. I think when you see a guy like him, kind of getting to his spots, hitting his shots, it definitely just brings a different level to our group. And like I said, credit to him. It was a tough back-to-back. Obviously, he played really well last night, gave us a chance to win in Denver. Got in late, and he still came out and did what he does. And it got me ready to play. I know everybody else kind of fed into that, and he definitely set the tone for us tonight. And so credit to him for that.
Luke, you joined this team about a month ago, but just this season, this group doesn't have the best record when it comes to against some of the better teams in the league, specifically teams 600 and above winning record. And you guys have a game like that coming up on Sunday against the Knicks. What can wins against those level of teams do for just a group's belief in itself?
Yeah, I mean, you play teams that are playing winning basketball and winning records. It definitely can build some confidence in the group, and but I know even some of the close games we've lost just recently. I know we've done some really good things, and we know that. We know a couple of things that we can clean up, and we still believe, even though we've lost some really close games, that we could have won, and we know what we have in the locker room and in this group, and I think. We're going to be ready to play on Sunday. I believe in that, and hopefully we come up with a win.
Hey, Luke. How does playing with a lob threat vertical spacer like Jackson Hayes open up shots for you and the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge the way he's been playing. Him and Luka have a really good connection right now. I think they're playing really well and playing off each other. And even tonight, there was a play where Luka got double teamed. He hit Jackson, and Jackson hit me in the corner for a three. So he's finding ways to play off of that too. He's not just getting the ball and trying to go finish when somebody's open. He's making the right plays. So credit to him for that. And but obviously, when Luka can get in the paint, throw lobs, teams are going to have to help because Jackson is such a lob threat, and it just opens up the floor for those open threes. And Luka is obviously going to find you if you're open. So credit to him for the way he's been playing. I mean, he's been really, really good for us, and we're gonna need it from going forward.